Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Tuesday, October 25th, and we are coming at you after quite a boost in crypto prices. We have neutral to bullish sentiment across the board. A few are, of course, bearish, but got a lot of coins in the bullish territory after we talked for the past few days and last week about neutral to bearish. We've got Bitcoin finally back at 50, ETH hovering just under 50. We've got hourly bullish sentiment, so things are looking good. Of course, we did talk yesterday about the fact that we have tech earnings this week. We have a FOMC blackout, and then of course last night we had a news come across the board that China state banks are ordering institutions to buy stocks to contain selling. So of course that was basically a fabricated bullish action by the Chinese banks. Of course, it doesn't 100% apply to U.S. markets, but more liquidity in the market is definitely good for everybody. And of course, tack that on top of the FOMC blackout and the concrete news around the next rate hike. And of course, we have price action like this. And of course, when we spoke yesterday, we were right around. We were just around. Where were we? Right around here. So we were tipping towards the highs of yesterday's session. When we spoke yesterday, we said we could see a pump into the evening and then a dump in the morning. Well, what we got was actually a slight dump into the morning with a pump after the open. So of course we did, end up continuing higher. It wasn't exactly how we thought it would, but we were, the bias was long going into today. So if you were long into the open this morning, you were having a great day. Of course, we're coming off of the highs a bit in terms of equities. If we zoom out a little bit, we can see that we actually broke into the range that we drew yesterday. Remember that range low was 3830. The range high is 3900. We're now at 3840. So we're in that range. Basically, what we want to do, just because of the current price action, because we had a higher lift. On the low end, what we want to do is close above 3,800, and then we can have continuation. On the very bullish side of things, we want to close above 3,830, and that would, imply some serious bullish continuation, likely 3,870, likely 3,900 next. So close above 3,800. Bullishness is likely going to continue, close above 3,830, and we could have a serious rally on our hands. Now, looking at sentiment, Bitcoin sentiment just tipped into bullish territory, as we can see here from the daily perspective. There's a little green down there. So that's good. And of course, hourly sentiment is quite bullish, very positive to see. For Ethereum, of course, we're still under bullish sentiment, but continually coiling underneath that level. And of course, we had a big boost today. And then hourly sentiment is looking very positive as well. So we want hourly sentiment to stay positive for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. And if that can sustain, then we may end up having bullish daily sentiment for Ethereum and Bitcoin, which could help propel the current rally that we're seeing. So checking out Bitcoin right now. Let's zoom out a little bit. And of course, the levels we drew yesterday still holding up. So, we held above 19.1. That was the conversation yesterday. We broke above 19.4 this morning, and then we had a massive boost up to 19.8. 19.7 was the original level. We got up to 19.8. And so we know 20K is really that next big level. It's technically 19.95. as it sits right now, but that 20K level is definitely going to be a very big deal if we can end up getting up there. The issue here with Bitcoin is, of course, the volatility that we've seen after we've grown overbought. Last time we had a full retrace to 19.1. When we made it to 19.7, we had a full retrace to 19.1 all the way down to 18.8. When we made it to 19.7, back down to 19.1. So now we're at 19.8. Ideally, for great, fantastic bullish continuation, we want to close above 19.7. Ideally, we close above 19.5. That would give us, if we can close here, then 20K is definitely looking very likely. If we can drop down here and consolidate here and then rise higher, that's a fantastic scenario. And then of course, at worst, we end up trickling down to 19.4 or back down to 19.1 for a potential another boost. So it does look like bullish continuation is much more likely than slapping back down into to bearish sorrow, but of course we have to have these levels play out the way we want to. We can't definitively say things are going to shake in one direction or the other without first understanding exactly where our price levels are. So 19.7 is a big deal. 19.5 is a big deal for Bitcoin. If we can stay above there, we can likely continue higher. Now, ETH, of course, is looking still strong somehow, which is quite kooky. Of course, looking at zooming out. So, it's going to get, I'm going to try to make this look a little bit sexier for us. So the levels we drew yesterday are laid out in the chart. So we busted above. So we right at the open, right up to about 10:30 in the morning, 10:30 Eastern, we got up to 1380. Of course, we zoomed from 1380 all the way quickly to 1410. The levels we drew out yesterday were 1410 to 1480, about 1480 for the next range. Of course, we are in that next range, very similarly to equities, how it busted out of the current range in the next one. In a perfect world, for extreme bullish continuation, we want to close above 1410. If we close above 1410, then 1450, 1470. Looking very likely for potential consolidation and rollover. If we can't close above 1410, we want to close above 1480 or 1380, which would then allow us to consolidate here and then continue higher to attack these two targets that we just lined out. And of course, if we fall above 1380, then we want to see ideally 1360 hold. If 1360 cannot hold, we want to see 1340 hold again for potential continuation. Of course, ETH is going to be very volatile, especially with that big boost. Clearly, it's looking more attractive in the eyes of investors than Bitcoin is right now. And I think that narrative, I think ETH has a better long-term narrative, considering it's deflationary, considering it's, has a lot of utility. It's going to be, hopefully the world computer, if all things go well. Bunch of L2s running on it. So ETH has a lot of activity and a great narrative moving forward. Bitcoin, not exactly, but of course it still has, it's the first, it's proof of work. It's, it's got the supply cap, et cetera, et cetera. So they both have great narratives, but ETH narrative looking a little bit better. I think we're going to see more extreme price action out of ETH moving forward. And of course, if we can close above 1410, we have great continuation odds, and we still have good continuation odds if we can close above 1380, but 1410 would be perfecto. Another coin that I want to just draw attention to is Solana. Solana obviously sent from the lows, over 10% now. So Solana up 10% back to where we saw mid-October. So you would, ideally you want to see Solana get to 31.6. If we can get above 31.6, then we have 32.5. This thing is, I would not mess with this thing yet. It blew a massive amount of shorts away at about 29.8 and rose basically a bunch of shorts open at 29.8. And then it rose another 5%. So I'm not shorting Sol yet, but I will say that it will likely face some resistance if it can get up to 31.6 in the near term. Another darling is Sushi. Had a big fund invest last week, and which led to these crazy candles. We're now still under the resistance for the October high. I have a feeling it can definitely get to this October high, especially if the rest of crypto is bullish. And then we'll have to see exactly what follows after that. But I don't see why, Sushi can't try and attack these two levels up here, 1.61 and 1.54. If everything else is getting going, seeing how it's not overbought yet, it does seem to be a little bit either ignored or suppressed. One of the two. I have a feeling it'll eventually catch up, especially if ETH keeps chugging along. ETH is at 14.24 now. ETH is, quite a stalwart. So that's, closing above 1410 still looking very likely here. And of course, I'm sure Bitcoin rose a little bit since ETH did as well. Yep, we are back towards these highs as well. So ETH will probably move a little bit better than Bitcoin. Don't count Solana out yet. And these two resistance levels, 32.5, 31.6. And then of course, Sushi I think we'll have the stones to get to 1.5, maybe 1.6 as well. So good luck, happy trading. If you're not in the Trade the Chain community, all this info, all these trade ideas, all these levels, all these ideas go into the Trade the Chain community early. We're hitting a very accurate rate right now. We're killing it. So are the Trade the Chain members. If you're not a part of the community, get signed up for your 14-day risk-free trial that includes the community that you can come in and join and splash around in. So good luck, happy trading. Speak to everybody tomorrow. Let's kill it.